Well, what do we have here for the rescue? Yes dear, the Align tool. Let's proceed. So initially select the box and tower by dragging the mouse. Then move the cursor to the toolbar and click on the Align tool or press the L button in the keyboard. Well, the black dots have appeared now. But hey, the black dot at the center of the front portion is blurred, which implies that the front part is already aligned. If the black dot is not blurred and it is clear, that means we have to click on it to get the alignment correct. So yes, the front portion's alignment looks alright. And let's now correct the alignment of the left side. Then, first get an aerial view of the structure using the 3D cursor. Then click on the black dot at the center of the left side. Alright, let's now take a thorough view of the structure using the 3D cursor to check whether any further modifications are required. It looks fine, right? Indeed. So now I think we can look into the dimensions of the tower. The tower seems so small, right? So yes, let's now elevate its height to negate it. Then click on the tower. Now click on the white handle on top of the tower and set the height to 70. Then press Enter key. Now the tower looks not so small, right? So zoom out the work plane using the scroll button of the mouse to have a complete view of the tower. Alright, that seems fine. Now have a detailed view of the whole castle by adjusting the 3D cursor. And you can see that the next part that we have to add are the pillars for the main building. So to add the pillars, first select the pillar that we have already designed by dragging the mouse. Note that we must be very cautious not to select any other structure while selecting the pillar, okay? You know it will affect the whole design. So get a top view of the pillar using a 3D cursor to check that only the pillar is selected. Well, I think we are good to go. Okay, but where do we position the pillar? Of course, we already said that we need the 4 pillars in the 4 sides of the box. So yes, the first one goes to the left end at the front portion of the box. Therefore, move the pillar using the arrow keys and place it at the left end of the front portion. Yes, now that looks good. But we can't be sure of the precision of the arrangement with just one view from a single side, right? So now facilitate a left side view of the structure to have a different view using the 3D cursor. Now adjust the position of the pillar using the arrow keys by contrasting both the views from the front portion and the left side. Fine, now that seems good. Now let's move on and add the next pillar. You know we don't have to design another pillar, right? Instead, we can just take a duplicate of this pillar and add it to the next side. So this one must go to the left end of the bottom side. Okay? So yes, to generate a duplicate of the pillar, press Ctrl+D. Now move the pillar using the arrow keys and place it at the left end of the bottom side. Okay, now take a detailed look at the second pillar from the left side and the back side of the structure by using the 3D cursor. How does it seem to you? Good, right? Yes, so now adjust the 3D cursor to get a front view of the work plane so we can add the next pillar. Then select the top portion of the first pillar by dragging the mouse. You know why we select only the top portion, right? Yes, it is to avoid selecting any other structures along with it. So now press Ctrl+D to generate duplicate of the pillar. Let's now place this duplicate pillar at the opposite end of the original pillar. Yes, to the right end of the front portion. So move the duplicate pillar using the arrow keys and place it at the required position. Now have a detailed view of the alignment by viewing it from all the directions using the 3D cursor. If you feel like you want any small adjustments in the positioning, you can do it using the arrow keys. And that's it. The third pillar is also positioned now. Finally, it's the turn of the fourth pillar to get in action. So to add the fourth pillar, get a backside view of the structure using the 3D cursor. Well, we already have a backside view, right? So now select the top portion of the pillar at the left end of the bottom side. Then press Ctrl+D to create a duplicate pillar. Facilitate a right side view of the structure using the 3D cursor. Now move the duplicate pillar using the arrow keys to the left at the right end of the back side of the structure. Then we can now take a look from all the directions to confirm the perfection of the alignment. Well, it looks alright from all other sides except the back side. Because when we view it from the back side, it's clear that we just have to move it a little to the right to position it correctly. So move the pillar a bit to the right and make the alignment precise by using the arrow keys. Did you know the largest castle in the world is the Prague Castle with an area of 7,53,473 square feet? Now the 4 pillars have been added and positioned precisely just as we wanted. Now let's take a look at the 4 pillars to check its precision. Well, ready? Let's go and check. So adjust the 3D cursor and have the view from all the directions. Good. When looking it from all the directions, did you find any errors in the positioning? Well, have a look at the pillar at the right end of the front portion. When we look at it from the front, it seems it's hiding the tower's right end a bit, right? So we must want to move it a little bit to the right to correct that fault. Then get a top view of the structure using the 3D cursor and select the top portion of the pillar at the right end of the front portion very carefully. Now get a front view of the pillar using the 3D cursor and now move it and position it correctly with the assistance of the arrow keys. Alright, the problem is solved now. The alignment of the pillars now seems to be fine and polished. Let's see if we take different views of them from all the directions using the 3D cursor. It shows great precision in alignment, right? Great, buddy! Now we have one last element to add on to this structure. Yes, last but not the least. The door for the castle. So yes, let's depend on the same shape round roof to create the door. Then move the cursor to the Basic Shapes tab and select the round roof shape. Now drag and drop the round roof to the work plane. First, let's make it hollow by clicking the hole option from the specification box. Okay, now let's set the dimensions for the door. So click on the white handle at the right bottom of the round roof. The length and width of the round roof are now at 20 by default. I think keeping them at 20 will be alright for the door. So make no changes in the length and breadth. Then to adjust the height, click on the white handle at the top of the round roof. Now instead of inserting the value, drag the white handle upwards until the height is set at 26. Alright, now let's place the door to its destined position. Now, before moving the door to the destined position, I have some good news. Now, we are not going to add space for the door. Instead, we are going to add a door in real, just like we did for the house. So, move it using the arrow keys towards the front portion of the box. But hey, don't we need to change the color of the door? Yes, so as the door of the house is painted dark brown, let's apply the same color for this door also. Then move the cursor to the specification box and click on the solid option. Now from the color palette, pick the dark brown color and that's it, buddy. So now we can insert the door to the box in its required position using the arrow keys. Oh, the round roof seems to be a bit large than we require, right? So we have to adjust the width of the round roof to fit it properly. So to adjust the height, instead of using the white handle, let me use another method. Can you see the black dot in between the white handles at the left bottom and right bottom sides? Yes, now click on it and drag the black dot until the width is set as 5. Now the width is set. Then move the round roof using the arrow keys and place it exactly at the destined place at the front. Further, adjust its position precisely using the arrow keys to get its alignment right. Woohoo! And that's it. The structure of the castle is completed now. And it looks stunning, isn't it? So now let's take a final detailed assessment of the design of castle by looking at it from all the directions using the 3D cursor. Now zoom out the work plane using the scroll button of the mouse and have another thorough glance at the castle by using the 3D cursor. Wow, the castle looks mighty just as we wanted it, right? Yes, buddy, we did it! Just like this, we can make a lot more interesting objects by the integration of basic shapes we have in TinkerCAD. So, buddy, at first, before designing the castle, we did a small warm-up by designing a small house and a little tower. Later, we added the box shape for the base structure of the castle. After that, we made a hollow cavity inside the base. Then we added a tower on top of that box. What was the next step? Oh yes, the pillars. We added 4 pillars to the 4 ends of the box. Then we also inserted a door at the front side of the castle. At the end, we simply have a terrific design of a castle in the work plane. Now my buddy, that's how we design a castle in 3D using TinkerCAD. Now coming back to my first question. Doesn't the castle in 3D look more real to you? Yes, indeed it is. Well, that's the power of designing in 3D. By using the various shapes in TinkerCAD, you can design any objects that you couldn't even think of drawing it in a paper. Buddy, I'm going to come back with much more interesting stuff to convince you. So keep practicing whatever you have learned, then only you can be a pro in designing in 3D. So until we meet again in our next venture, bye!